All right, so here we are with the Historic Houses, Global Houses Map Stories platform that I've been working on with Sheffield Digital. So this is just to test the layout and interface and how everything looks and works, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. Just to go across the top, the text, of course, is all sort of provisional. The first story that we're going to see is just essentially in draft, and I'm just working to sharpen that and also starting the next story, which deals with Dufferin. And then the third story is one that Joy and I will both do about the sort of the interwar period. Well, I'll source the images and Joy will write the text and we'll divide it all up. But that we won't be doing that one till the fall. I think the Dufferin one we'll probably have done by July. So we should be able to launch the whole thing around Christmas, which is super good news in terms of the project deliverable, because I think it's a good one. Anyway, so we've got the houses. We can have more information there. This will grow. So anybody who's mentioned in the stories is going to be indexed here. And if you click, you get a little sort of biography and then where they fit into the story. Then you have places, and again, this is going to grow. This is just, again, what we've put in very roughly just to make sure all of this functions. Events, so far we're dealing with the Congress of Vienna. Some documents, we'll get the final act of the Congress of Vienna, and we're going to be uploading Prony material, I think, and some higher quality images. Then we've got our image bank. Some of these are from Prony, some from the BL, some from the Library of Congress. They're from all over the place. And we're going to swap them out as we go. Some of these maps here are kind of like old school textbook maps, not too nice to look at. Something like this is just horrific, but we haven't found anything yet that captures that. There is money in the budget for us to draw some custom maps, so we may look at that. Then we've got themes, and again, we'll populate these, and then data and methods, and that's just empty at the moment. So essentially, go back to the stories. You just open the story, very similar to what we did with the movement in common worlds, but I think this is a little bit better because you've got the first frame. It includes tags within it. You've got a map view here, and then you've got your story scroller over on the left-hand side. Before it was superimposed over the center. And then there's a little progress bar so you can get a sense of where you are. So this is I think it's a lot easier to navigate. So as you scroll here, essentially you get images and text, and as you scroll, then the map view changes. Super smooth. I think probably better than King's Digital did the other one. And this is really going to be very much map based and document based and image based. So this is what we're looking at. What we've done here is we've georeferenced this historic map onto a clean base map, so you can actually see the stretch here. So I quite like that feature. And we have a series of other maps that we're going to go through. And then we talk about Vienna as a sort of a spatial system. We'll go more into what that means. We're looking at ways of animating this border a little bit to make it sort of pop up and down. But again, this map here has been rubber sheeted over. This is the kind of map we want to avoid. 1980s high school textbook type map, pretty crappy. But we'll get there. We may just draw the outlines of this and then make a clean one using these design elements. There's a number of different ways we can do it. And then we go into the interior of the diplomacy. So Vienna is very much a sort of an aristocratic party. So we've got that scene in there. And then we move to Castlereagh himself, and some of his correspondence and images of him. And then we're going to move into the house, essentially draw everything. So we've got all that. We've got our maps, we've got our social building. We come inside the interior. We'll have better maps and hopefully integrate the scans of some of that stuff in here. And then the sort of the so what part, the after effects of Vienna. So that's essentially what the stories are going to look like. They take us from place to place. One thing that we're looking at doing here is superimposing some historic maps over the Ards Peninsula to sort of give us a more contemporary view of what it would have looked like in Castlereagh's time. So there's a number of things on the list to augment. And then based on what we learned from doing this one, all we need to do now is we have this architecture and all we do is just plug in images and data and we're away on the next story. But that's one that I need to research from the ground up. So that's where we are.